I didn't advertise this in a whole lot of places. I just put it on the Percy Priest page, and again, it's
I've seen it pop up.
so cool. Let me put my banner up here. I don't know if y'all can tell on y'all side if I have anybody on. I feel like sometimes Alex can see it on his side. Yeah, it looks like I got 0 viewers at the moment. Oh, we got one.
See if I actually, you know what?
I'm going to share it.
See, I don't have. Oh, hey, babe, come here real quick.
Hi there, this is Johnny. I'm not sure who's is on, but feel free to drop a comment. Let me know that you're on. We're just giving it a few moments here and let others join and can try to let other folks know. And so, as you can see there, we'll get started in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Give me a second, guys.
Yeah, and feel free to mute too. There we go. Oh, we got another person on. I'm actually really glad that Gary's on because I think I saw a post about him having a boat, and so interested to hear, Gary, if you really did buy a new boat. It looks like you got a Phoenix.
I can't see that.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, I shared it on both of my pages, so maybe some people will jump on.
Yeah, Jim, when do you normally do your live streams? Is it 7 o'clock? I can never tell a good time.
Yeah, I do mine 7 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah. You feel like that works well for the people in the different time zones and dinner and all that good stuff?
It does. I started off at 6, and people would come in late. But I moved mine to 7 on Mondays. And the reason why I chose Monday is because usually Money Bass is on Tuesday. And I'm an Oak Island fan, so I like my Oak Island on Tuesday night. And then, Wednesday, I didn't want to do Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday because during the springtime, that's when I'm up at Dale Hollow or I'm pre-fishing, and I didn't want to fool with, doing a live stream. So that's why I chose Mondays. Another good night, like Bass Geek, sometimes he does his stream on Sunday nights. Sunday nights, I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot of traffic on Sunday night after 5 and 6 p.m. A lot of traffic.
Like just watching your videos?
Yeah, watching the videos. People are online. I can tell in YouTube Studio that probably 50% of my views come on Sunday night.
Yeah. What about you, Gary? I see that you're on. Is there a certain day or time of the week that you tend to watch YouTube videos? Unlike us, where it's like 24/7. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning and before
Grab this.
We had 4 at one time. Looks like 2 dropped. Maybe we'll have another one here soon. But either way, we'll get started at 7:36.
That was neat. I've never done that before. I was able to connect to your live stream through my Big Jim account so I can comment to everybody.
Nice.
I have my wife's pulled up so I can see the chat.
Cool.
Let's see what
Awesome.
Gary said. Yeah. Jim's on. All right, well, another 50 seconds.
My traffic's normally, I would say, from 8 o'clock at night till 12 or till 1. That has been like my most traffic pattern. Like videos being watched is like late hours for some reason.
Gary says every day after work. I wonder if that's like at 5 p.m. or, I guess it depends on your work hours. But
I want to see if I can pull up the grid for you guys.
that's one thing I probably should do better is watch the stats on my YouTube studio and plan
Let
accordingly.
me see if this will show up.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's when my people are on. Most of them start watching it. Either they watch it at work, but the majority
6
of
a.m.
yeah, the majority of them come on Sunday through Thursday at 6 p.m.
All right, let me see here. Let me do a quick intro real quick. Hey guys, welcome to Fishing with the K's. It's been a while since I've done one of these live chats. Normally I have Alex Roberts from Alex Roberts Fishing with me, but today I've got two special guests. I've never had Big Jim on along with Chad from Bible Belt. So I hit these guys up earlier today, right after work, and they were able to jump on tonight's live stream. And so appreciate those that are watching. If you're watching this on a non-recorded session, we're both from, all three of us are from Middle Tennessee, and we fish a lot from Percy Priest and Old Hickory. And so I'll start it off with Chad. Let's do introduction. I'll kick it over to Big Jim, and we can kind of chat about bass fishing around here.
Like Johnny said, my name's Chad. My YouTube channel is Bible Belt Fishing. Majority of my fishing is Old Hickory, some Percy Priest, and the Cumberland River. Those are my three primary spots.
Nice. And a new boat owner.
That is correct.
I'm sure we're going to talk about that tonight, I'm sure. But hey, everybody out there, it's Big Jim with Big Jim Fishing. Some of you guys might know me for my long form videos on Phoenix boats and Hummingbird. I do a live stream on my channel on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And these guys are my friends, man. And I'm honored that Johnny asked me to pop on. I plan on having him on my show coming up soon. And I've had Chad on before, and because he is a hammer as a co-angler, and he's won an event. So I'm honored to be here. Thanks, Johnny, for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Why don't we go ahead and get right into it? I know, Chad, you recently picked up a boat and fished your first tournament as a boater, right, up front on a bass boat?
Yes, sir. I just picked up a brand new 2024 Falcon F185.
Nice. Where'd you get that from?
Volunteer Boats. Rick.
Had a good experience with them out there?
Yes, I can't complain. I mean, I've tried to get my old boat, had to get an oil change, the lower end stuff done, and everyone said they were months and weeks out. And I had tournaments, and I wanted to get out and make sure that I was shooting videos and stuff, because the less videos, the more of a drop off there is. So I called him up, and he told me, all right, well, I could probably about 2 to 3 weeks. And then I finally got in there. And then once he's seen who I was, then all of a sudden I dropped it off on a Friday, and my boat's back Monday.
Nice. That's awesome.
And ever since then, it's just been repeat business with him.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Speaking of show me the money, man, we got Gary, Kyle, and Dale in the house. I think Dale is another recent boat owner. I think he just picked up a Phoenix not too long ago.
Yes, he did.
Man, you're going to make me want to buy a new boat here soon.
Put it off as long as you can, man.
Yeah. Jim, talk a little bit about your boat. You picked up, you're currently selling yours, correct?
Yeah, I am. Would it be okay if I showed a picture of it?
Sure.
Let me see if this will work. I think it will, but we'll see.
Yeah, while Jim is doing that, Dale, what did you end up getting the year and size of your boat? As you can see, I'm not sure if you saw in the comments, but Gary picked up one. He picked up a 2023 Skeeter ZX200. That thing is sharp. I really like the rod layout on the Skeeter.
Yeah. It wouldn't let me show it. Did it throw it at the bottom of the screen there for you
Oh,
to
yeah.
throw it on the screen? Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm selling my boat. It's a 2019 19 PHX. I've got it at a rock bottom price, everybody, 59K. And if you know anything about boats, I mean, I have, counting the 360 and Mega Live with Target Lock, you're looking at $14,000 in just electronics on that boat. Just the 3 graphs are 10,000. So, but I keep it in mint condition. These guys have seen me before. They've seen my boat at a boat show. I had it at the Lebanon Boat Show out on the floor. It's in mint condition. I baby it. I baby all my boats. It's in immaculate shape. It had been wrapped, took the wrap off, and it looks brand new. So, yeah, I'm trying to move it because I ordered a new boat, y'all.
Nice. So I know both of y'all have recently ordered a new boat. Chad, was your process pretty good? Was it exciting, like going online, picking up the colors and what all you wanted, or was it stressful, or how was that process?
Well, once I seen how far out the boats were, I mean, I could have got a 2023, but all the extra additives that you can get with a 2024, because then you can get, 3 years extended warranty on the motor and everything else with Mercury and all that extra stuff that I got, you couldn't get with a 2023. So I had to go with a 2024. And then Rick, I knew what his Ranger looked like, and he showed me the picture of what this boat was. So I really didn't pick it out. This was already coming as his showroom boat, and I stole it from him, basically.
Nice. So how was it fishing your first tournament out of it? You fished at Old Hickory the other day?
Yeah, it was night and day, because if everyone knew what I had before was that tracker, the DV, the Pro MV 165, I had the dual windshield in the front. So I always had to line my rods in the middle, and I've snapped numerous rods walking from the front to the back, trying to get my GoPro or do this or do that. And having so many rods in the middle, it was just a constant headache. Plus, I didn't want to take a lot of people out or do tournaments in it for the simple reason with other people because of the space in the back. Because I felt that it wasn't fair to them, because I'm not giving them room, and if they want to bring stuff on, there's not a whole lot of space. But for me and you just to go out and just float down the river or just go out and have fun, yeah, it's a great boat. But other than that, to do anything else with it, it just wasn't.
Yeah. It looks like Kane Fishing just joined. I'm not sure if he's asking Jim or Chad about the new boat, but I'll let y'all do a quick plug again. The boat that you all bought. I'll let Chad go first, and Jim, you can let folks know what boat you bought.
Yes, all right. I got the brand new 2024 Falcon F185. It came with
18.5 foot.
What?
Is that 18.5 foot?
18.6.
Gotcha.
Or 18.9, sorry, should I say.
Gotcha.
It does not come with a hot foot on the 18 footers, so I had to get that installed on there with it. It came stock with 2 Helix 9s, and then of course I had to put my live active target up front. It come with an Ultrex. I think it was a 80-pound thrust with the iPod, the spot lock, and all that stuff on it. Didn't want the power poles for the simple reason is, how often am I just need to get stuck in dirt or just stay in one spot? Because where I fish is a river. Where I fish, because I'm really not going to power pole down in the river. I fish Old Hickory, and for the most part where I fish, I'm not going to power pole down anyway. So it was, do I throw that in the financing, or maybe later on in time, do I get the power poles and buy them and add them on?
Yeah. Thanks, Chad. Let me add Jim's boat here. Jim, I'm assuming this is your new boat?
Yeah, that's a picture where on Phoenix you can go through and pick your colors. That's one thing I like about the Phoenix boats is that you can pick each color that's on the boat, even the trailer color, the pinstripes, everything. And what I ordered was a 2024 919 Elite. They just come out. There's only been one that has been made so far, and I'm hoping mine's like in the top 5. But for those of you who watch, you know, I run a 19 PHX Phoenix, which is the same exact hull. It's just the top cap is different. What is, you know, if you ask what's the difference between a 19 PHX and a 919 Elite, the difference is when they package a boat together on the PHX, you got more upgrades like the graphs that come with it, and the gunnels from the front seat post to the nose are a little shorter. That's the only difference. And I've been waiting for this boat to come out. I had heard rumors about it last year, but they didn't release it. And then the week that I heard that they were going to release it, that's when I got with Phoenix and Nashville Marine to get it on order.
Nice.
Yeah. So if anybody's curious about the colors on that, the boat itself is called Galaxy Mist, and the black stripe down the top cap on the side is black silver. The wings are black silver, and that's red gel on the logo insert and the front bow wings. So I'm really excited. Y'all know me, I'm a black and red everything. That's kind of like my trademark, you know, for Big Jim fishing. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Jim, we also have another great question from Kane. Is talking about if you had to choose power poles or spot lock, which one would you choose? I'm not sure if your old boat had it or your new boat's getting it or not, but I'll let you take that one first.
All right. Yeah, my old boat does have 8-foot power pole blades. I absolutely love them. I'll tell you why in just a minute. So on my new boat, I went with the same exact thing, 8-foot power pole blades. The reason why I did not go with Raptors or anything like that is because of my garage height when I back the boat in. The power pole blades, when I back into my garage, I have that much clearance, so I don't have to lower them and raise them every time I move the boat in and out. Now, why do I like power pole blades? I'll tell you why. It's actually 3 reasons. The reason that I use them the most is when I launch my boat and when I go to put the boat on the trailer, because they come with a remote, so I can back it off the trailer with a rope and kind of sling it out there, and I can hit the button and it'll power pole down, and I get out of my truck and take the rope off where I hook it to my trick step, and it makes it easy when you're by yourself to launch and pull your boat up. The second time I use them the most is BFL tournaments. When you're waiting to blast off, instead of sitting there fighting with the trolling motor or putting it on spot lock, usually, you know, some buddies of mine will find a bank line and everybody power poles down, and you just sit and talk and visit with each other. And when you come in to weigh in, it seems like 90% of the time that we're fishing a tournament, there's wind. So you'll know, you nose your boat up on the bank and you drop your power poles, and it keeps your boat from moving. It'll stay there. And the third reason why I like power pole blades, or, you know, shallow water anchors, is during the springtime, during the spawn, when I get back on those flats and back in the creeks where it's, you know, 4 feet or less, and I find one on bed, I can not hit my trolling motor to spook the fish. I just power pole down. And by the rule book, if someone's power poled down, you got to give them 50 yards. So that allows me to work a bedding fish or an area that I know that they bed, and I have it to myself.
No, those are all great points.
See, I don't have the power poles because I seen this comment come up when I was just right after I was talking. That's why I actually chose power poles or a spot lock trolling motor. To me, I do a lot of my fishing out. I throw a lot of crankbaits. I throw a lot of drop shots. I throw a lot of that stuff. So to me, I didn't have spot lock when I'm on the river. spot lock when I'm on the river because I just kept on float down the river, turn my motor back on, and came back up and floated back down again. Well, now I can get into a spot and I could just stay there.
Yeah.
So when I'm using a drop shot, to me, having a better trolling motor versus having the power poles, which I do more of my fishing in deeper water.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the spot lock, but it's up to everyone's personal choice. Now, if you have the money, get both. But like me, I don't have the money to get both. So I'd pick one or the other because financing and interest rates on boats right now are horrendous.
Yeah. Great point. Great point. Like you, I love spot lock. I would say I use spot lock the most after May when I'm offshore.
Mm-hmm.
Because you put the nose into the wind and, you're fishing a ledge or a point or a drop off or whatever. And you can't beat spot lock. It saves. I mean, y'all, I'm 53 years old and it gets old standing up there fighting the trolling motor in the wind. So I totally respect that.
Now, do you have yours set up? Do either of you two have yours set up to where you can have it navigate just a certain direction on your contour lines to where you could just set your trolling motor and it'll just go?
Yeah.
By itself?
Yeah. I mean, the boat that I'm selling, I can literally look at my Solix and touch it and hold down on it, and a menu will pop up. It says go to cursor, and I hit yes, and it will drive the boat to that spot. So,
yeah, I'm sure mine will do it. I haven't leveraged that feature yet, but it's pretty fancy to see how far fishing equipment has come, throughout the years. I really started bass fishing the last 3 years ago and really appreciate how far electronics and boats have come. But, for those that have been fishing for a while, it's got to be really neat, to see the evolution of, forward facing sonar and side scan and all other fun stuff.
Yeah.
Jim would be able to answer that question for Kane.
Kane, let's see.
What is the cost to upgrade a current trolling motor to spot lock?
You have to get a new trolling motor. You can't add a kit to them. You have to get a new one. And I can't speak intelligently about Garmin or Lowrance trolling motors, but I do know that Garmin, Lowrance, and the new Power Pole trolling motor all have it. That just comes with it. Minn Kota trolling motors, you can get them without it, but almost the majority of them from Ultrex, the Ultrex have it. Some of the Fortrex don't. I don't know a lot about the Fortrex. I don't think it has it. But I know the
Fortrex and it doesn't.
Okay, the Ultrex is the level you have to buy to get it. You'll know, guys out there watching, if you see a boat, does it have it or not? Because it'll have an external puck that'll be mounted on the boat that'll say Minn Kota.
Yep. Hey, why don't we talk a little bit about fishing juice? I know both of you all fish Old Hickory. I feel like we're in late summer going into fall transition. Jim, you talked a little bit about pointing the nose up into the wind, spot lock, and I felt like you got on a pretty decent bite, Carolina rigging out there on the Old Hickory, which doesn't seem like something that would produce well because it seems like the areas that I fish on Old Hickory are very grassy. So maybe you could spend a few moments kind of talking about that deal.
Yeah. Just in full disclosure, I wanted to tell you guys that previous years, I always struggle on Old Hickory after May, after the fish get off beds. And I told myself this year that I was going to go out there and learn it. And y'all have seen my brother-in-law, Steve, that fishes with me a lot, the guy with the beard. He's retired. So we were like, dang gummit, we're going to learn this offshore humps and ledges thing. So he challenged me one day. He's like, ride around until you find them. And that's what we did. I rode around, started off at 4 feet and went out to 20, just started looking around, looking at my map, and basically in a period of about a week fishing every day, I figured out where the fish were moving, in June, late May to late June. There was a period of about a month there that every time I went out, I was on them. And now I'm not saying I was on big fish. I was just on good, solid keepers. And I just used my side scan and would look at the map and would try to find, some ledges. And if guys out there, if you don't know what a ledge is, when you look at the contour lines on your map, it's when they get real close together or flat out dark. And I would go out there and look for some spots around islands and channel swings and stuff like that. And what's funny is that once I found these fish, come to find out it's community hole. Everybody knows about them. But I didn't know that because I'd never fished there before. Hey, where'd y'all go?
I was giving you a center of
Oh, okay.
attention since you were laying out all the juice. I feel like, Chad, you got on a good bite too, right? I know you were in your tracker, but I want to say you found. It seems like you normally find fish on Old Hickory.
Oh, they'll go to the same spots. Like the part that I'm disappointed at right now is this 100-degree weather. Saturday was beautiful. What I would say is the fall, they have started moving. They got pushed all the way in the back of pockets. And that's where I was trying to pick up in my latest video, was using a soft jerk bait, because they were all in 3 feet of water, but there's probably about a good 30 to 40 of them just busted, and they were all 2.5 to 4 pound bass. Like you could just see the weight coming after the bait fish right now. But this 100-degree water, it went from 74 degrees Saturday to right now, the water on Old Hickory is almost 85. So now that just ruined that pattern right now.
Man.
But that fall transition, it started on Old Hickory, and I'll say the bait fish are probably max an inch big, an inch and a half. And there's millions of them everywhere. So that's all you got to do right now. The best advice, and it's funny to say, is the middle of the day from 10 o'clock until 12.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see that. The little light is bad, but yeah, I mean, I have a Kitech, and I brought in a little shiner there. There we go, a little bit there, but yeah, tiny.
Yeah, that's how big they are. They are tiny, but their feeding window, it seems like right now, are from 10 o'clock to 12:30. Like the major feeding, and it don't matter if it's bluebird, scotch, or whatever. They're out there engulfing right now.
There you go, Jim. You retired. You can get up there, right? Well, we're out there
too hot.
working the 9 to 5.
Y'all, it's too hot for me. I haven't been fishing in 3
No.
weeks. And, we have a BFL coming up in 2 weeks, Chad? 3 weeks, middle of September?
Maybe 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're out there now trying to figure things out, you're going to be wasting your time. So
Nope.
it's just miserable right now. I've been doing the past few weeks, I've been doing sporting clays. So
Yeah. Y'all haven't been ordering tackle since you haven't been out there fishing. If folks that are watching, getting ready to the fall transition, Chad, you talked a little bit about a soft jerk bait. Do you have a favorite, and what's your setup there?
You could basically, what I would recommend is use any style fluke. It don't matter if it's Zoom, if it's this. I have a preference of 6 cents. I'm a huge 6 cents junkie. I have their monthly subscription. So I'm huge on that. Now, what I also say at the same exact time, a small underspin. I didn't tie it on, but I had it in there, and I did not make the move, which makes me frustrated when Saturday night I had it in the boat and I didn't tie it on, because it's a 1/4 ounce and I had the 2.8 inch Kitech on it. I hear Jim.
I wouldn't know how to tell someone to catch a bass right now. Gosh, what I found out last summer when we got into this transition is that there's so much bait for the fish to eat. It's hard to get them to react to anything artificial. Last year I did catch a couple on a little bitty rattle trap, throwing it into the bait. I did catch a couple on a jig. What I focused on mostly, and like when I go out later on, is I'm going to try to find some kind of structure that's in the shade close to those areas that have all the bait fish, whether it be a boat dock, a lay down. And instead of me trying to match the hatch, so to speak, I would probably put on a big jig or a big worm, something that they're not seeing from everybody else, and throw it up in the shade underneath the docks and stuff. You know, and a technique like that, you could be hero or zero, you know. You never know on Old Hickory. You never know.
Well, let's talk about some other
Top
lakes
water.
then, because
All
I know
through November.
Kane Fishing was talking about fishing St. Clair, which I've never fished there before, and like I said, I'm kind of new to fishing. Can't really say I have a favorite lake. My favorite lake is one that's not congested, that I can still catch some keeper-sized bass. But what about you, Chad? You ever been to St. Clair and you have a favorite lake?
No, I will say Raystown Lake back in Pennsylvania. All right. A lot of the lakes that are back home in Pennsylvania, they were all old towns. They were all sunken and flooded. So they still got the houses, the schoolhouses, and all that stuff. And if you Googled, striper size that are catching, like they're pulling 40 pounders, 30 pounders out of that lake on a consistent basis. It's just a huge, huge lake that holds, northern strain bass, because I grew up in Pennsylvania. So they're smaller, but they're stockier. You know what I mean? Like you might get an 18-inch, like that's a big bass, an 18-inch largemouth, but it'll weigh close to 4 pounds or 4 pounds.
Nice.
So they'll be larger bass. I mean, I fished a couple in New York, Cayuga. I also fished there already twice. I didn't do too well because I wasn't too much into smallmouth fishing, so I didn't do too well at all there.
Yeah. Jim, Chad was talking about, lakes that are like an old city. And I know you talked a little bit about Dale Hollow, but I want to say Dale Hollow is similar to that, right?
Yeah. Kane, my favorite lake is Dale Hollow. That Johnny mentioned that. What do I like about Dale Hollow is you got everything. You got super deep water. You got river channel turns. You got creeks. You got smallmouth, largemouth. It's just beautiful because the Corps does not allow you to build right on the water there. So all of the area is protected. There's a town that was flooded when they flooded the lake. You can see the foundation and the steps and everything to the schoolhouse with your electronics. A lot of people go and, dive and snorkel and everything around that area when the water's pretty clean. But yeah, my favorite lake's Dale Hollow. And I wish it wasn't, 2.5 hours away. I would be there more. That's why I fish Old Hickory all the time. It's just here, I can be in the water in 15 minutes. I like Priest. I don't know Priest well enough that I can go out there and say, I'm going to go out and catch 5 today. I don't know it that well. And I can't stand Center Hill, but I'm going to learn it this winter. This winter, I'm going to pound it.
Yeah, I feel like Center Hill would set up similar to Dale Hollow. I feel like it's a lot clearer, though. I don't know if it's because I was out there in springtime or whatnot. But.
Yeah, the problem with Center Hill, and this is Big Jim's problem, is that when they were working on the dam 4 years ago, they had the water drawn down, and then all the trees grew up, and then when they finished the construction, they rose the lake level back up. And what that did is that screwed up all of the Lake Master maps. So if you're out on the lake, Lake Master is not accurate on that lake. You have to literally find a spot and use your 2D and try to figure out the water level offset. And you might ask, what does that have to do with fishing? Well, when you're looking for beds, humps, ledges, stuff like that, I use my mapping. So if my mapping is inaccurate, I struggle with it. So what I end up doing when I go to Center Hill is just beating the bank or channel swings or something like that. And my track record's not very good up there. I've caught 4s and 5s out of there during practice, but my tournament record up there is absolutely terrible. I think my biggest sack was 3 years ago. I think COVID year, I might have had 3 fish for like 8 pounds, 7 pounds, something like that. And I struggle. So I'm going to beat the fire out of it this winter when I get my Live Scope Plus. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to figure that place out.
Nice. Gary also mentioned how tough Priest can be, but Chad, I know you don't fish it often, but I want to say you went out there not too long ago and was able to catch some. And I know you like catching them cranking. Is that how you caught them that day?
I will go to any lake there is in the United States and I will throw a crankbait. I will throw a square bill. And one way or another, for some odd reason, I'll try to find rocks and throw that sucker. I will throw it all day long. But yeah, we actually went out there, caught 3 in the morning. My son lost a nice 5 or 6 pounder because it scared him and he never set the hook in his chatterbait. He just took it and he's holding his rod, his tip all the way up in the air. And the fish came out of the water and it just threw his chatterbait. But yeah, whenever I go there, I think the deepest I will fish is maybe 10 feet. That's as deep as I will go in Percy Priest.
Now, what's your thoughts on like a square bill and crankbaits hitting the bottom? Do you feel like it has to hit the bottom, or are you okay with fishing a crankbait in the middle of the water?
I have learned right now, especially on Old Hickory, I'm not switching my crankbait. So if I'm on the bank and I know it dives down to 5, I've been catching a lot of fish throwing a square bill in 10 feet of water and it not hitting nothing. I'm just cranking and just letting it go and they're just rocking it, but I'm 5 feet off the bottom. And I've been watching YouTube videos and listening to more and more people talking about it, about now they're using square bills and not getting down to the bottom and they're just throwing it for the suspended bass. So if they're suspended at 5 feet of water and you're just zipping it right on by them, now it's a reaction bite because this thing comes zipping right on by them. So I've been doing that a lot more lately, and I've been catching a lot more fish lately doing that. So I'm not switching my crankbaits, getting down to 10 feet. I'm still throwing my 5-foot one.
Yeah, see, that's a lot of good juice right there. I know.
We got to give a horn on that juice right there he just spilled.
Yeah. What about you, Jim? Are you big crankbait guy?
Yes and no. I love to throw a crankbait in January, February, early March. And I want to piggyback on the juice that he just spilled. I want to spill a little juice too. Guys, if the bite is tough, take a square bill and put it on like whatever you would use to pitch a jig with and flip it into wood laydowns. And work it like a jig back through the trees, letting it ricochet off of everything. And if it's a tough bite with high pressure bluebird skies, you will get bit doing that. So there's a little bit of juice tonight.
Yeah, on a similar topic, I know Dale's pretty engaged in the chat. And then I know Dale likes to fish jerk baits, which I don't feel like I've caught many fish on jerk baits this year, even early part of the year when it's cold. But I don't know if Dale can easily mention some tips on the comments or not. But while Dale gets ready to spill some beans on the jerk bait, what about you guys? Y'all fish the jerk bait much? I'll start with Chad.
I do. That's my favorite.
I haven't. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. It's my favorite pre-spawn. In the mornings when before the sun gets up over the trees, I like to fish close to the bottom, but then once the sun gets up during pre-spawn, I like to back off into the guts and throw a mega bass jerk bait, and I'll play around with colors. I use Mega Live now, and that has paid off for me.
Nice.
I started getting into the regular jerkbait now, but as a lot of people know, I love the soft jerkbait. That's always tied on all year round because, for one simple reason, there's a lot of grass. Where I fish, there's grass. So a soft jerkbait, you can't get your regular jerkbait back there because it's going to get hung up and it's going to get lost. So I can get my jerkbait anywhere you're going to throw a spinner. So I can skip it underneath the dock, let it sink a little bit, give it a couple jerks. That's something that they don't see a lot. A lot of people are not throwing them under docks. They're not throwing it here. They're not throwing it in between boats. I'll let it sink. But what I've been doing is getting a 4/0 EWG hook with a screw lock keeper on because it's a little more weight than a regular hook. So it falls a little better from when I'm throwing it underneath docks. I can let it sink a little bit more. Plus, I'm not losing as many baits at the same exact time because eventually you keep exposing it and it's not going to work after a couple fish. But I have it screw locked on there, so I'm not losing as many baits. Plus, it falls a lot quicker underneath docks than just a regular weightless fluke. So I can throw those wherever.
Nice.
Yeah, and it just to piggyback on Chad, one of my secret things. I'll give you 2 secret things with Carolina rig because I always Carolina rig year round. A fluke on a Carolina rig because you can, as you drag it, it darts and just shimmies down. And if you can't get them to bite a fluke, put on what was called a French fry. You remember the French fries back in the day, like 20 years ago? Nobody throws them anymore, so put a French fry on.
Yeah, I thought I had one on my tackle while I was just looking for there. There's not much to look at on a bait perspective. But Jim, on your Carolina rig, are you straight fluoro? Or are you doing a braid to fluoro?
No. I've had a lot of guys ask me. I need to do a video. My followers want me to do like a series of videos on Carolina rig, and I should do that. But I use braid, 50-pound braid, and I always use a three-quarter ounce tungsten, and then I use monofilament. And the reason why I use monofilament, I want that stretch, but I want the braid so that I can feel, every single shell on a shell bed as I pull it over.
Now, I have a question for you, Jim. Now, did you think about you using monofilament for the extra flotation at the same time versus fluorocarbon on your leader?
Yes and no, mostly because of the stretch, because mono has more stretch than fluoro. It does have floating properties, but I guess it probably helps some. But whenever, I'm using 50-pound braid, so I always tie my mono is like 12 pounds. And that's so that if I get it hung up, with braided line, it's like wire, man. You can just jerk it and let that mono break off, and then you can retie real quick.
Yep.
But I like the stretch. I find when I'm fighting fish on a Carolina rig, as long as I have a mono leader, I don't lose them.
That's some great tips there. I just want to call out Jake because I know Jake just mentioned a comment there, how he lives in Clarksville and has been fishing Kentucky. I don't know if he's talking about Kentucky Lake or not, but I think Jake keeps comments sometimes on my Percy Priest page. So Jake, I appreciate you jumping on. And again, if you haven't follow Big Jim on Big Jim Fishing, he gives a lot of great information along with Chad at Bible Belt. So just want to give a plug for those guys since they're on.
Now, I have a question for you two. Now, I know it's going to be a personal preference, but what size rod do you guys use on your small crankbaits? Because, Jim, you specified earlier throwing them around wood, this and that. Now, I'm asking this because I love my 6'9". All right. I love my 6'9" because I can get close to the shorelines and I could just pinpoint the logs, pinpoint this, make sure I hit a dock post instead of a 7'6" where your accuracy isn't as well. What is your preference on a smaller crankbait rod?
If I'm
Both of you.
if I'm pitching it into timber, I use a 7'4". If I'm just casting it, like saying working the bank line of a creek, I use 6'9", just like you, because I can control
Okay.
it better. For square bills. Now, when I jump up
Yeah.
to like a DT8, DT10, I throw them on a 7-foot cranking rod. But square bills, I throw them basically. The rods I use, I got some right back there. They're Lew's Hack Attacks, and I use the 6'9" spinnerbait buzzbait rod for my square bill.
Yeah.
What about you, Johnny?
And I feel like height has a bit has to do a lot with it too, Jim. I'm surprised you don't use a longer rod because I feel like you're taller than I am. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", but I prefer like a 6'10" if I got to make accurate casts for that particular reason. Like to me, like a shorter rod, you can make quick, accurate casts. Like if I'm fishing Old Hickory, I like a shorter bait cast rod because I feel like I got to be accurate. But I fish Priest a lot, and I don't feel like I have to be nearly as accurate, because I'm not fishing laydowns and docks and all the other good stuff. But my main go-to is a Shimano 610, X Pride, like I said, from an accuracy perspective.
It's nice.
Thumbs up for the Bills fan. Jake's a Bills fan over there, buddy. Yeah.
Well, speaking of rods, I know, like I said, fall fishing is coming. I feel like little swim baits and whatnot work well. I feel like a big topic these days on YouTube is BFS, and so if you're not familiar with that, that's bait finesse system. I've been using it for a little bit. I know, Chad, you've got some rods from Kessler and Daiwa Reels. What's your thought on that? Is that hype, or you feel like that's what you really need to throw those small lures?
Well, go back to where I lucked out on.
Lucked out.
Dale Hollow was lucked out. My first one is I tore my leader and I forgot to bring a leader line with me, so I was out. So what did I do is I used my 6'9" cranking rod, but it's a light, medium, heavy with moderate action, so it's moderate tip. But I had my BFS reel on there, so I could throw my quarter-ounce swim bait on there, and then that's what I used for the rest of the day. I could throw my 1/8 ounce, I could throw my quarter, I could throw all my light stuff, and I love it. Like you can chuck them a mile.
And that's the post big head, right, Chad?
Yeah, I'm a huge diehard fan, especially since they came out with these new rods now. Now you have like, I have my Kistler, my helium rod is a heavy, medium, heavy. So now it's just not your heavy. I mean, your medium heavy, and then you have your heavy. Now there's an actual action that's in between your medium heavy and your heavy rod, just like your medium heavy and your medium. So now I have a light, medium, heavy. So now there's even more bend in the rod. So now you could use it for your treble hook stuff and your smaller. So I have my dock skipper is a light, medium, heavy. So when I use that for my wacky rig, and that's like a 6'9" yet too.
Yeah.
But
what about you, Jim? Have you jumped on the BFS reel bandwagon yet?
No. Matter of fact, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh wow.
I'm old school, guys. I'll tell you, I have let's see. I have a flipping stick. Well, I say flipping stick. It's called a jig rod special that are 7'4" heavy. I have 8 of those, and I use them for football jigs, pitching jigs, Carolina rig. I use it for all that. I have a Cross B rod that is 7'6", medium heavy plus. So it's kind of like Chad said, it's in between heavy and medium heavy. I use that for throwing Texas rig worm, something like that, crawl, wobblehead crawl, that type of stuff. And I mean, all my crankbait rods are 7 foot, and all my spinnerbait, buzzbait, chatterbait, square bill rods, they're all the same rod. They're 6'9". So I'm not as advanced, breaking it down on the rods like you guys are. Not
What
any,
about the reels?
I have the same reel on every rod except for my jig rods. I use Lew's series on my jig rods because they're gear ratios 8-1, and everything else is a Lew's LFS, the $99 reel, in 6.3-1 on everything else. So
Interesting.
Have
Have you not thought about like upgrading, or have you not thought about trying to some different brands, or you like to keep them all the same so that way when you pick up a rod, everything feels familiar?
That's what I like. I like knowing that, okay, I blow out a reel or whatever. I've only blown one of those out this year, but I try to take a lot of the variable out. I try to keep everything as similar as I can. That way, if I go to throw something into the wind and I get a backlash, I can take a reel off of another one and throw it on that rod and go. Or I can just reach down my rod box, grab another one. If they're hitting chartreuse, cut off the Tennessee shad, tie another one on. And I'm even going to get even more so next year. I'm really trying to simplify my scope of fishing, because the more I simplify it, the better I do, and I can't explain why.
I will say,
yeah.
I will say, since you said about getting a backlash in the wind, those BFS reels, I can cast as hard as I want into the wind, and I've never gotten a backlash because you can throw 1/8 ounce baits and it just goes off the reel.
Yeah.
So I would recommend, if you do ever want to try one, I'm a huge Daiwa fan. I know Johnny's a Shimano fan. So, but everyone has their own. But
though, Jim, I'm sure you're old school and still reeling right.
Yeah.
Now. Where you cast this one, you got to flop it
I am
around. It's so inefficient.
I'm old school. Yeah, watch my videos. I'll swap hands. Yeah. I can't do it. And what's funny is that I'm left-handed. When I write, I'm left-handed, but I cannot shoot left-handed. I cannot cast left-handed. I eat left-handed. I can't, when I play baseball, softball, everything's right-handed. I can't explain it. It's just me. And I'm too old to try to learn it.
Yeah. Jim, what about spinning rods? I feel like you do a video on drop shot and stuff like that earlier this summer?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's messy, right?
Yeah. Well, with learning forward-facing sonar, it really stepped up my drop shot game. A lot of people talk about using the Demiki rig and everything during the pre-spawn, which is a good thing. But after the spawn was over and they started moving out, I would, find ledges and humps and stuff and throw a Carolina rig. And then if they didn't bite that, then I would move up and use my Mega Live with my drop shot and just irritate the crap out of them until they bit it. My spinning rods, I have 4 Lew's and 1 Cross B. The Cross B is 7.6 medium, and my Lew's are 7'2", I think, medium heavy. And I'm trying to find a good spinning reel. I've been playing around with it for a year. See what happened if y'all remember back during COVID. Amazon ran some sales on Lew's reels, and when they put the bait casting reel, I bought 20, and then when they put the spinning reels on sale, I bought 10, and that's what I've been using. Do I like them? They're sufficient. I don't love them, and I've kind of been playing around, and talking to some companies and stuff, and hopefully one day I'll hook up with one. I really like the feel in the store of I know I'm going to say this wrong, but y'all know what I'm talking about. At Bass Pro, it's called a Pfluger.
Yeah,
You know, yeah. I like the way that spinning reel feels. You know, the Johnny Morris, the high end series feel really good. But I'm going to play around with it this year, especially, you know, since I'm going to be out live scoping, you know, using Demiki rigs. I'm going to have to nail down a good spinning reel that I do like. And when I find one that I like, I'll buy like 10 of them. So I have plenty of them to use, but I don't have a favorite right now.
Yeah, I just went and picked up my my Luz. This is a Hyper Mag. If you like Luz, I would look into this one. What I really like about it, it's a 300 size spill reel, but it's really lightweight and balanced well for this.
Nice.
It's a Luz rod, but I think this one is my medium light. I tend to throw like the small Kitech on it. Works well for me. And then I also have one in a medium that I like for drop shot. But, you know, Jim talked a little bit about drop shotting, Chad. I feel like you've had a lot of luck drop shotting on Old Hickory.
Yeah, it all depends. Right now, Rich is not my videos, but I will say this live, but I'm not putting in my videos purposely. But I've been using them shallow. All right, so where you're gonna throw a jig, where you're gonna throw a worm, all I did is my leader. So now I'm only at 9.5 inches for my 1/8 ounce weight to where my little 2.8 or whatever, if I want to use a floating worm or if I want to use one from Z-Man or anything, even the Robo worm. But now I can throw it shallow because I only have 9 inches. And now it's staying off the grass because there's a lot of grass. So I'm keeping it above the grass and some of that shallow water around the rocks. I've been noticing that they're biting that a lot more lately. But that's been out of videos, so I have not put that in the videos yet.
That's some juice right there.
So to anyone that wants to do that, you can throw them shallow. Throw them shallow. Exactly what people are saying. Throw stuff that people aren't throwing. So just try it. It might work for you. It might not.
But you like an 1/8 ounce even in that shallow scenario?
An 1/8 ounce. The only time that I will go do a 1/4 ounce is when I'm on the Cumberland, and that's in the winter, and that's when the current's really kicking.
Yeah.
Right now, because right now I think that slower presentation right now, and it stays there, and then it's I could just move it, and yet it's not dragging the dirt on the bottom, so I can actually move it, and I can feel it a little better with the 1/8 ounce versus the 1/4. Now, if I'm out deeper and 20 foot, you know, and there's current, if I'm on like what Jim was saying, that there's community holes on Old Hickory, but if you get those shell beds, I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce because the current's coming over top of that. So I actually want the flow with the current. So it's actually dragging my bait with it. So I don't even need to do anything with the rod tip. Cast it out there and just let it. It'll slowly take it across the rocks and the shells.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to do a time check with you all. I want to be respectful. I'm not sure if y'all could stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes, but maybe we can start winding it down then. Folks kind of get in their questions. They have some, if that works for you.
I'll stay as long as you want to go.
Well, we got to keep them wanting for more. You know, if we stay out here and give them all the juice, then, you know, they might not want to come next week. So, you know, Jim, one of the things that we were just talking about was.
I think I'm going to end up.
Go ahead, Chad.
I said I'm going to get Jim hooked on Daiwa Tatula's watch.
Yeah. That I want to get Jim on the Cumberland River.
I
don't think I've seen him talking about fishing the Cumberland River.
I want to fish the Cumberland River. You know, and Johnny, I know, you know, a few weeks ago you tried to get us all together for a massive Nashville area YouTube fish off. Man, yeah. I'm behind that 100% if you can get it done.
Yeah, it's just aligning schedules.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably the most flexible out of all you guys, but I would love to do it, you know.
All right, we'll keep that in mind.
That would be good.
Make a time here. I'm going to say it'll start closing around 8:37 p.m. Let's see.
Just so you guys know, anyone that's watched this, in the wintertime, you only need one crankbait on the Cumberland River. You only need one. That's it. Just a Berkeley. for its side 5. That's it in crawl patterns. Make sure you have 5 or 6 of them because you'll probably lose them in the Cumberland River. But that's the only bait, and I'll swear by it. Go to my videos. It's all off the row all day long.
And you won't get mad at us for throwing out there because I feel like someone got onto you, right? But for giving up the use or something.
Yeah, I had someone get on to me trying to tell me that it's his spots and all this stuff, and it was in my video, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I said, I seen you in my video. I said, just so happened to be. He's like, well, I was in your video talking to you. I said, I don't even know who you are, but yeah, he supposedly there's a spot, but everyone knows I didn't have spot lock on my boat, so I just floated. So if you're talking about a spot from where you put it at the dam and I'm all the way down at where's that Stones River there at Heartland Park, if you float that far, one of those places on that river's your spot, I apologize, but that's a far float.
Well, I have a different opinion on that. My opinion is nobody owns a spot. If I can find it on my electronics, or I run across it doing my own map study or whatever, and I find it, I'm going to fish it. Now, what I'm not is I'm not a hole buzzard like Ben Milliken says. I'm not. I don't look around where other boats are and then move in on them. That's not me. Matter of fact, I like to be alone. I'll go out of my way to get away from people. But you know, the thing about it is that there's fish everywhere. We think that we go into a creek and there's no fish in a creek is not true. All you got to do is look on your forward-facing sonar. They're everywhere. It's just what is their feed window? What, structure are they holding on? What do you got to do to entice them to bite? So I try to get away from people most of the time. But, as far as someone saying, oh, that's my spot, man, get off my hole, especially in a video, I had your back that time, Chad. No, I'll advertise the spots. I don't care. Some guys will take a picture, they'll get out, they'll be fishing and they'll take a picture, right? And they black out all around their head holding up their fish. That ain't me, dude. I don't care if you know where I'm fishing.
I'm just trying to have fun, and everywhere that, since I fish Old Hickory, and the people that fish it, they know the landmarks. Everyone knows it. So I'm just sitting here trying to have fun, and hopefully someone sees the spots and there's fish there, and someone that normally doesn't catch fish ends up going there and has the time of their life. That's my whole goal.
Yeah. I mean, there's now granted lakes do get pressured, but when people talk about that, they're talking about the community holes get pressured. You can find water that nobody is at and put your head down and figure it out,
Yeah. Hey, Jim, I know you talked a little bit about Ben Milliken. I feel like we're all Ben Milliken fans and haven't looked lately to see how he's doing on opens, but I felt like for a while there, he was pretty close to getting the Elite Series. I'm not sure if he's still in the hunt or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't followed it. I don't know about you guys, but like the past month, not only us little guys in the YouTube community, but even the big guys are struggling for content. That's why you'll see videos now. Hey, you need to get this bait, because everybody's struggling for content right now. And I'll have to look and see, but I don't know how he's doing, but I know he was close. He was right on the cut line, I think, the last tournament. Honestly, I haven't watched a video of his in probably 2 weeks, so I'm kind of
he has a new one out, and the new bait came in this month's subscription package.
Yeah.
Speaking about this, hold on. I will go grab this bait. Look at this.
Yeah. So while Chad does that, Jim, so who would you say your top 3 YouTubers are, like watching wise? I know you like to watch Money Bass, or I'm not sure if you have any other big ones.
Are you talking about that I like to watch?
Yeah, that's like informative and educational and entertaining.
I did a live stream, back, I don't know, a few months ago about that. I classify mine in a couple of different. I watch for entertainment as well as educational. Like, I'm not the guy that's going to be like, oh my God, I got to look up and figure out how to rig a double drop shot on a shaky head. You know, I'm not that guy. What I do is I like personalities. I like to follow personalities. And for pure entertainment, like awesome editing and all that, I like the Jacob Wheeler videos.
Yeah.
I like when they sit around and they talk about what's coming up on tournaments and stuff like that, just for entertainment purposes. I like to watch Bass Geek because I know Hank. He's a friend of mine. I like to watch his stuff a lot. I jump on Money Bass quite a bit because, you know, me and him, you know, he's kind of like the king of Mega Live on Helix, and I was the king of Mega Live on Solix. So we feed off of each other, you know, with our videos and stuff. I watch, I think it's called Sonar Fishing, Miles Berghoff.
Yeah.
I watch him a lot. I watch Mark Daniels Jr., Dustin Connell. You know,
Yeah, all those guys looks like they're having a great time.
Yeah.
Chad, any of those guys that maybe not rattle off the same ones that Jim just mentioned, but any ones YouTubers you like to watch?
I like follow them all. If I need more of what is coming out, what's working with the BFS stuff, then I get into tactical bass, and you know what I mean, because they go in depth with specific techniques. What is it? Tyler's On the Reel Fishing or Tyler's Fishing or whatever.
Yeah,
he's actually. I watch him. I watch some of the Sixth Sense guys. A lot of the Sixth Sense, just because I use their baits all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue.
The majority of food.
Yeah.
Yes, this is sample pack. This is Sixth Sense. It's not even out yet. They always give you whenever that's coming out. This is what, I don't know if you follow Josh Jones at all, the guy that catches 10-pounders left and right. But this is their new bait that is coming out right now. Oh, where's my camera view? So this is their new one that is out. It's very, 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 very thin.
Does it have a hook in it?
Nope. This is where you put your hook in. So you can use, this is the deep one that they're using. And this is the one right now, their smaller one, that they're using for their drop shot. It's so lifelike, it just folds. But it's not out in the market. But as you see, like, this is what they're using on the drop shot right now. And he's catching just monsters left and right. Milliken has it in his new video too. They're using this as a line through too. Putting that and putting the treble hook on top.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's another reason why I like Sixth Sense, because you get the new baits before they even come out on the market.
Johnny, if you don't mind, I was just looking at everybody that I'm subscribed to. And, you know, like you, I watch a lot of YouTube. But I enjoy watching guys like us as much as I like watching the big name guys. You know, like Alex Roberts Fishing, Backdraft Lure Company, who's some other small guys I watch a lot. Cajun Rob Fishing, DL Peck Fishing, Fishing with Norby.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Kicking Their Bass TV. Kyle Welcher. Let's see. Nuke Obahor Fishing. Reed Angling. He's from the Nashville area. I watch him a lot.
Yeah, he hasn't really cranked anything out here lately, though.
I know he hasn't. He hadn't put anything out lately, but I like, you know, the little channels as much as I like watching, you know, all the big guys.
Well, I think it's neat because we can see how we're doing on the local lakes, you know, like I know, I mean, on social media, it makes it seem like everyone's catching them, but a lot of times they're not. And so, like, you know, when you're out there and you watch other folks struggling and stuff like that, or catching non-keepers, you know, I feel like it makes you feel a little bit better because everyone always wants to post the big fish and big videos and all other good stuff. And so I feel like we try to keep it transparent and keep it real, you know, within our channels.
But what a lot of people do not realize is the amount of times that you go out there and fish and film and you have zero content. All right. So you wonder why these guys are going weeks on hand and have no content. Normally I have backup content. Normally I'll have, on a Tuesday night or a tournament, then I could have a Thursday night, or then I could be out on a Saturday. Well, I have zero content right now. I have none. Like I haven't had a boat for one, but at the same exact time, it's tough. And what people fail to realize is you could be out there 8 hours and have zero content, and your GoPro was on the whole time. You know what I mean? And it's, why am I going to show this little 3-inch bass that I caught that's, as big as my finger? Like, you're not going to have that content in your video because no one's going to pay attention to it. So what people fail to realize is it takes time to get content. That's why I like following yours, because you fish Percy Priest. Jim has a lot of content with electronics. So if I need something with electronics, I could go to Jim's. Just, like the local guys, I can pinpoint what I like to watch because you fish the Cumberland and you fish Percy. I don't fish Percy Priest much, but I could try to use somewhat of your techniques and go on Percy and try to do that as well. Now, Jim, at the same exact time, he's great with electronics. So if I'm trying to figure this out, trying to get, the sensitivity or this or that on my electronics, I can go to his channel. So which is nice with all the local guys. Everyone has their own little specific thing that I could just watch day in, day out. And I'm always going to learn something.
Yeah. And if you notice, guys, my channel isn't always going out and catching fish. I mean, a lot of my views are showing a new boat that has come in at Nashville Marine, or, like when I went up to the Classic, the outdoor show, jumping around booth to booth. There are tons of channels out there of guys going out and here's how to use a jig, or here's how to throw a crankbait. You can find tons of those. And I've tried to tailor my channel around doing things that are different, seeing what the latest Phoenix boat is, or what options you can get, or, whatever. And I like to mix in the BFLs because some of my highest views are on the BFL tournament videos. So like today, I shot a video today, and while I was waiting to come on today, I uploaded it and did the thumbnail. But Thursday, I did a Big Jim Outdoors video of us shooting sporting clays today down at Nashville Gun Club. And it was a lot of fun. And, I'm trying to come up with different things because to me, I struggle with, like Chad said, sometimes we'll go fishing and I have no content. So I'm always, and I know that if I go fishing tomorrow within 100 degrees, I might catch a keeper, maybe two, and then, dive a heat stroke out there. But,
just write us in your will for your boat,
yeah,
had to go
that's
out
like Chad, man. You need to do a boat tour video and put it on your channel. And you're going to find that if you do a boat tour video, it's going to be one of your highest viewed videos.
Well, I already got in contact with Rick, try to do stuff with Falcons because he has an F-20 Predator. He has an F-19. He has a couple more boats coming up there. So I'm just not going to do a video on mine. I want to go with the different sizes. So you can go from your lower end, which what I have, all the way up to your Predator, which is, your $100,000 boat. So I can go with, with all the different increments of sizes and what you can get on them, what they put on them, this, and this. So I talked to Rick and asked him, if I can come there, to volunteer boats to go ahead and just video some of this stuff and go over all the different boats and sizes of the stuff you have.
Yeah. Hey, real quick.
So I have that in my downtime.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge Brandon from Backdraft Lures.
what's going
Lure Company is a local bait company here in Middle Tennessee. Jim mentioned he also had a fishing channel, but Backdraft, I know he specializes in like jigs and chatterbaits and some of those things and swim jigs, and so just wanted to welcome Brandon. Joining.
Yeah, did I got a question for him. Did you get your boat fixed after it took a pounding up at Dale Hollow? I know it scratched it up, man. Let me know in the comments.
Was that from like the storms or something like that, Jim?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my opinion is, we're all friends and there's enough YouTube out there for everybody. I love the fact that, you guys, we have each other on each other's shows. And it's kind of like a camaraderie amongst us YouTubers in the Nashville area. And I hope we keep it up. Some of my followers are going to follow you and vice versa. And that's great. That's great. It's all about providing free entertainment out there for people.
Yeah, and I feel like we really enjoy fishing, but I'm sure we got other skills outside of fishing too, and I think we can help each other there. Just like I said, Alex helped me with networking here in my garage, and then Jim, like I said, I haven't gone clay shooting or skeet shooting in a long time. It'd be great to go out there, one weekend with the wives because my wife actually enjoys it too. Just go out there and go shoot some clay targets, have some lunch.
Yeah, I'm down. My wife's been twice. I got her signed up for a lesson. Matter of fact, the first time I took her, which was 2 weeks ago, she took my Browning Satori from me, and I had to go buy I bought a new gun last week, a Browning 725 Sporting. So we both got good shooting guns now, and she's happy. So we'd love to go shooting with you guys.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah. Oh, who's going to argue when the wife says, "This is mine, go get you a new one"? Yeah. Who's going to argue with that?
Chad, I feel like you're pretty lucky and you have a really supportive wife on the fishing stuff. So that's great to hear.
Oh, I love it. I mean, she comes out. I mean, she will even stay out there in the hot sun, but she'll bring the Bible, she'll bring her laptop, or she'll bring something just lay out in the back of the boat and just take pictures of nature. So I can't complain. I mean, she goes out with me, rain, sleet, snow, or shine, and I just love it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the wives, I should probably go in there and spend some time with mine. But before we end, Jim, I'll let you give a quick plug on your boat and talk about your channel real quick if you want to.
Okay. Yep, Big Jim Fishing on YouTube. I do a live every Monday night at 7 p.m. and I release a video every Thursday at 5 p.m. And the picture right here is my boat. I'm selling it. It's the one that I have 150 something videos on. 2019 19 PHX loaded. Reach out to me. You can leave a comment and I can find you. You can find me on Facebook. Big Jim Fishing, leave me a message, messenger, whatever. If you're interested in the boat, give me a call, 615-585-5855. And I've got it rock bottom, and it's got everything on it that you can get except for the Warrior Wheel package. If you're like, Jim, I'm interested in the boat, I don't want to bother you, I have a video that was posted on my channel doing a full walkthrough. And Johnny, I'm honored and appreciate that you had me on tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Chad, I'll let you do a quick plug.
Well, like I was saying earlier, my name's Chad, Bobwell Fishing. Unlike Jim, I'm not going to be able to get a video out every single week right now because right now I'm struggling. So I will start producing more and more videos as the temperatures go down, especially in the winter. In the winter is when I'm going to be able to produce at least 2 to 3 a week because that's when no one's out there on the lake and the fish aren't seeing as much, and I'll hit the river more. So if you're into more river fishing, I'll be doing that this winter.
Nice. And then just want a quick update on my channel. Like I'm really not trying to push my channel, so I record and edit when I want to. A lot of times I just don't feel like wearing a GoPro or, putting the camera back there and editing and all the other fun stuff. And so, I do it for my pure enjoyment, just from a creative perspective. I don't know if y'all notice on mine, but I try to add more than just like fishing, try to add the whole experience on mine. And
yeah, so, I like your videos.
Thank you. I'll do a video here and there. I'm going to be spending this weekend in Kentucky Lake. Going to take the wife and the dog out there, and might do a little bit of video on that and kind of see a little bit of my personal life. And so maybe y'all can check that out. But I really enjoy these sessions, and we'd love to hear from you all personally. Y'all can send any of us a message, and we could try to do more of these videos. Like I said, Alex and I used to do them every once in a while, and Jim is at a more regular cadence. But again, with me and my work schedule, I'm like, hey, I feel like chatting fishing, and so I called up some friends, and here we are. And so I really appreciate everyone's engagement.
We need to get a little tournament one time of all the guys that do YouTube stuff, because now I have a boat that I can have an extra person in the back that I don't have to worry about. So we can get more and more people out there. It doesn't matter if it's Percy Priest, Cumberland River, Old Hickory.
I'm
Maybe
down.
keep it
Man.
interesting. We'll throw like 3 lakes or something like that in a hat, and we can pull it out, and that way it's no one has a home field advantage.
Let's just go to Fate Sanders. It's central to everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Fate Sanders. Catch some retreads, right, Jim? I know you talked a little bit about retreads the other day. So
Yeah,
I haven't seen that video.
they bite. I'm catching them.
Fate Sanders. I won't have to use much gas then if we go there.
You know all the community hosts, Chad?
Yes, well, that's in that video on Percy Priest. I didn't go very far at all.
Yeah. If the creek that the Fate Sanders is in, you can hammer them in there, man.
Yes.
You don't even have to start your motor.
That's why you're not allowed to fish in there during tournaments.
Yeah. All you got to do is idle around the boat dock.
Yep. Yep. And you're not allowed to fish there during any tournament.
Yeah.
You're not allowed back there.
You can fish out in the middle and kill them. You wouldn't believe what's out there, but I've seen it.
Yeah,
They're loaded in there. They're loaded.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Hope y'all have a great night. I hope I'll talk to y'all soon.
You too. Have a good night.